paranormal fans, welcome back to another episode of Black Cat Crossing podcast. We hope you all had a great week and that this new one will be even better. Z, how has your past week been?
Oh my goodness, it's been crazy. I had to work like 9 days straight.
Oh wow.
Yes,
I can
it was
imagine how
terrible.
exhausted.
Oh, I could not wait for the weekend, and now it feels like it's completely gone and starting over. Weekends do not go slow enough.
No, it definitely doesn't. Never does. And then it's just filled with so many different little chores. Oh my goodness. It's just crazy. But I'm glad for me. It is a long weekend because tomorrow is also a holiday.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it is. So whenever we have a holiday, I'm not sure if it's the same thing for you guys. When there's a holiday that falls on a Sunday, the Monday is automatically a holiday.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, so that's always fun.
That's cool. Nice long weekend.
Yes, but the heat is a killer. It is so tough trying to keep cool.
Right? It's been terrible. And then the rain, we've had so much rain.
You could send some my way. I would love that. I would love to have some rain right now.
I think it's rained like every day for like the past couple weeks.
It just rains enough to get the place humid and just more sticky. And that's it.
That's the worst. I hate when the rain does that.
Me too so bad. So this week we're traveling to Blickling Hall in Norwich, England. I know that you're familiar with that one.
I love England.
And we'll encounter some royal apparitions. So grab a snack, a cuddle buddy, or a comfy seat and join us.
So the most famous ghostly residents of Blickling Hall never even set foot inside of it, though they did once live on the land that the manor home inhabits. The Boleyn family home originally sat where Blickling Hall now stands. Arguably the most famous of Henry VIII's 6 wives, wife number 2, Anne Boleyn, was born in the home, and legend says that she was returned in her afterlife. Perhaps her ghost pines for a time that her life was less complicated and her every move was not watched, analyzed, and reported upon. Construction on Blickling Hall began in 1616 by surveyor Robert Liming for Sir Henry Hobart, with construction finishing up in 1626 with a grand banqueting house, elaborate gardens, and 2 well-stocked deer parks for hunting. The house would pass to Sir John Hobart, who would later become the first Earl of Buckingham. He would continue to add to both the house and the grounds. The second Earl of Buckingham would extend the property vastly. Blickling Hall would pass through the family until eventually in the 1940s, it would be used by the Royal Air Force during World War II as an officers' mess hall and would pass to the National Trust after the death of Lord Lothian. Blickling Hall is home to the Royal Air Force Olton Museum as a way to honor the pilots and officers who dwelled there during the Second World War. I think it's so interesting, like how these old structures were repurposed.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much history there.
Yes, I was gonna say that. It's all about the history, and I just love when buildings or whatever it is that we're researching it's just so steeped in history.
Yes, I love history. Like, it's my absolute favorite thing to research.
Yes, definitely.
If one
sorry, yeah. So go ahead.
If one wanted to visit Blickling Hall for the paranormal events, May 19th would be the best time to visit, as that is the anniversary of the beheading of Queen Anne Boleyn, and she is said to arrive by a carriage that is pulled by headless horses and driven by a headless coachman. When her carriage door opens and she descends, she is said to be holding her head in her arms. Her headless ghost then walks the grounds and estate until daybreak, when she vanishes. So I would love to see this. And I feel like it's probably not at all true, but Anne Boleyn is definitely my favorite of Henry VIII's wives. And to see that would be both amazing and so terribly sad.
I've seen the movie, but I saw it a while back, so I can't really remember the details of it.
Which
But
one?
the I think when she got married and then she got beheaded.
But I mean, like the other.
Which one of them?
Yeah,
Though
which
I don't
movie?
know. I don't know which one. I just know I saw one of them. I don't know which one exactly.
Was it the Natalie
I think it
Portman
was
one?
like, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think from just I guess her life from a child and growing up into becoming his wife. But I'm not sure exactly. I didn't even know there were several of them, honestly.
Yeah, there's a
I
few.
think it was just playing at one time on television, and I just happened to watch it, and I was like, okay, I'll take a look at it.
Anne of 1,000 Days is my favorite.
Oh well, I have to take a look. We'll have to take a look at it. I don't mind watching it if you don't. We can watch it together.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but just watching, I don't know that I could do that, Z. I don't know that I could. Like, I think it would freak me out so bad if I saw any headless anything walking around.
I think normally it would, but I don't know. I think just because like I have done so much research on Anne Boleyn that I would just be so amazed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And sad.
Yeah. Yes, and sad.
Oh my god, I don't know that I could do it. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like if this really happened, there would be all kinds of YouTube videos of people who have shown up to see it.
Yeah, but maybe too. I think it's almost like a lot of the things with this, the apparitions, etc. It's kind of like the Loch Ness monster. You do get glimpses of it.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
There's nothing ever concrete to say, yes, definitely that's happened. So.
Yeah. So
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm done.
A steward claims to have come across the ghost of a lady in a gray dress who was reading a book. As the steward approached, she began to vanish, completely disappearing by the time he reached the spot where she sat. Upon looking at the book she had been reading, he found that it was a book of paintings by Hans Holbein and was open to the painting of Anne Boleyn. The staff and guests have also reported seeing Anne's ghost wandering the grounds.
Now, this is interesting to me because the ghost vanished, but the book that she was reading remained.
Right.
I would have thought that maybe if it was a book that she had with her, it would have vanished as well. Or maybe she did want him to come across it for him to see exactly what it is that she was reading.
I would imagine that it was like in like a sitting room or like a library area where there would just be like table books out.
And she was just flipping through one.
Right, and Hans Holbein was the like the famous painter during that time.
Oh my goodness, yes. I completely spazzed out there. Yes, it says so.
So like I think that would be an interesting sight to see. Now that one I can believe way more than a headless. The headless coachman with the headless horses and
oh, my baby.
Enjoying what you've heard so far? Be sure you never miss an episode by following us. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Thomas Boleyn, Anne's father, is said to also arrive in headless horse style and without his own head on his shoulders on the 19th of May. Legend says that as penance for standing by and doing nothing to save his daughter and son from malicious untruths and allowing them to be beheaded for treason and incest, he must cross 12 bridges before the cock crow on May 19th. His journey starts at Blickling Hall and onward to, is it Aylsham?
I believe so.
Aylsham, Bellow, Berg, Buxton, Coltis Hall, Hotbois, Mayton, Oxnead, and finally ending in a Wroxham. And I know I probably butchered some of those names.
You know what though? I'm so glad that you had this part because I would have butchered way more of them.
Oh, George Boleyn, Lord Rochford, also makes an appearance. His headless ghost is said to be dragged across the countryside by 4 headless horses. That is freaky as hell.
Right. Yeah, that one would be super scary to see.
And what is up with all these headless everything?
Well, they were all beheaded except for the dad. He died of natural causes.
Wow. The room that Henry Hobart, 4th Baronet, died in after having lost the duel is said to be so haunted that a dog owned by a member of the National Trust won't enter the room. He sits just outside of the door and growls, snarls, and barks at something unseen inside the room. The final ghost to be seen on the property was another former owner of the land that never set foot in Blickling Hall, Sir John Fastolf, the 15th century knight who became the model for Shakespeare's Falstaff, has been seen by visitors to the estate. The estate is beautiful, and if the reported hauntings are true, they are worth a trip to the manor to check out. Have you any ghostly encounters at Blickling Hall? Do you think the reports are true? I think some of them are.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's like there's just so much history there. Like the fact that the John Falstaff was the model for Shakespeare. Like that is so awesome. Like Shakespeare was so big during Elizabeth I's reign, which was Anne Boleyn's daughter. Like that's and then it was Anne Boleyn's family's property. Like it's just so interesting.
It really is. It is. I don't know. I'm just reading again just the last little bit that I read, and you know what's another thing that is fascinating to me about this is that a lot of the deaths, and I mean that's to show you just how much history and how much I guess when the spirit doesn't really want to leave, or when they feel that they have ties to the land, that they would stay, because a lot Blickling Hall, most of the ghosts weren't even residents of the property. I mean residents of the hall, the house.
Right. It's the property.
Right. They've attached themselves to that property. And that is fascinating to me. And it's always those some big names.
Right.
Some big important persons are stuck there.
Most definitely.
So I do think that the fact that the dog is afraid to go into that room, I always believe that animals can see the unseen, things that just on the other side of the realm that we can't see for ourselves.
Yes, 100%. And it always creeps me out when my cats like stare into space.
Yes. They're seeing something.
Right. And I'm just like, stop it.
So if you ever see your cat freak out, you better freak out too.
Yes, definitely. Especially because mine are super lazy. So if they're freaking out, there's a reason.
Yeah. So that says something. I would visit. I would just hope never to see Anne Boleyn pull up, but I would visit just to experience some of the other ghosts.
Just to see the architecture and the landscaping and just, the history, because it's also the Royal Air Force Museum.
Yes.
So that would be really cool to check out too.
I'm laying hand, I'm smiling just thinking about it. Yeah. One day we'll do it.
Definitely. We'll add it to our list of things.
Yes, definitely. So this week we don't have a movie review to go over. We don't have a game review to go over. But we thought that it would be interesting for us to speak about a couple of our favorite horror movies. So Z, you want to go first?
Sure. So I think the horror movie that absolutely terrifies me would be Insidious.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like I have such a hard time watching that one. I can't watch it by myself and I can't watch it at night.
That's
like
a good one.
Sleep paralysis. Like I've had that happen before. And I'm terrified that it'll happen again, and then I'll get sucked in some kind of insidious like
But then
scenario.
it also played on I hate when I want to say the word and it's just stuck at the back of my tongue and it won't come forward.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Like what the little boy did, he when he left his body behind and
Astral projection.
Astral projecting. Yes. Oh my gosh. So it also plays a lot in that. And I think these things happen. I think you know how sometimes when you're sleeping you would just kick out suddenly
Yes.
and jump from the sleep. I'm sure there is some scientific explanation for what happens then, but to me, and I've always said that, I feel that's when my soul jumps back into my body. Like it was about to leave, like to go exploring or go do something, and then whatever snaps me out of it, and my body becomes more aware, so it has to jump back in. I don't know. That's what I've always thought.
Yes, I definitely subscribe to that.
Yeah, so I do think that is what adds to making it even more scarier, because it feels real and it feels like something that everybody has experienced, and especially I guess for you having had sleep paralysis as well.
Yes, sleep paralysis is like terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Do you have another one, or do you want me to say one and then we go again?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so
Excuse me.
one of my like favorite movies to watch is Jeepers Creepers.
Ooh, I love that one.
You love it?
Yes.
But the ending, it plays on my mind. I think too that is why I keep going back to it. Like, what could have been done differently to have it not end that way? And what would I do if I was in that situation? Because normally with a horror movie, most times the demon or the evil entity or whatever it is, it gets killed. You hardly ever get that the good guy dies. And I'm sorry for those who haven't seen it yet.
I feel like if you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers yet, like you need to stop right now and go watch it.
Definitely.
Have you ever seen the director's cut version?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. So my sister, my brother, and I are like obsessed with this movie. Mm-hmm. And we watched the director's cut, and there was this one scene that they cut, and the creeper is like talking, and he has the sister, and he like smells her, and he's like, she don't smell too good, but Derry does. And it's the funniest freaking redneck accent ever, and we just lose it every time. So like we'll just randomly say that to each other.
and that's how it became a new family thing.
Yes.
Oh my god, now I want to see that. I'm definitely going to have to look at it. So what's another movie that you enjoy watching?
Oh wait, before we do that, so we were watching Pawn Stars on YouTube the other day, and I noticed behind Rick is the Beating You license plate from yeah. I was like, oh, it's the Creeper's license plate.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder if anybody would actually had it done. I mean, obviously in Pawn Stars, but like if anybody actually used it as their license plate and not just as some memorabilia.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Especially if you had like an old beat up pickup truck.
Yes. Okay, Susie, I have a question.
Yes.
If you happen to see that van pull up with that license plate, knowing what you know about the movie, would you go exploring?
Probably not.
Oh, me too, definitely. Okay. So yes, your next movie.
I don't know. Like, I love classic horror movies. I love all of the old, like Friday the 13th movies.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
have,
used to freak me out a lot.
yeah, I have like so many memories of just watching these old horror movies with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would get so mad because she knew I wouldn't sleep.
But that didn't stop you.
No, not at all. And Nightmare on Elm Street is probably like one of my favorites.
Oh my god. I think I was, as a child, that was what I was most afraid of.
Yes. Freddy Krueger was literally the stuff of nightmares.
Yes. I mean, at the time as a child, these things really, there was nothing that you could see that wasn't real in it. I mean, to watch it now, you could see where all the effects were, etc. But oh my goodness, it was.
But I think as an adult now, like watching them, that's what makes them so amazing.
Yes.
Though I did learn not to watch black and white horror movies in color.
After our last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it came off better in black and white than it did in color, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So I'm a big fan of Stephen King. Even as a child, I remember I used to have all his books. As soon as a book came out, I would bother my mom for it. So when they started putting it into movie form, I would try to watch as many of them as I possibly could. And sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, as a reader, like I have a hard time getting through Stephen King books because he's just so descriptive.
Yeah, normally that would be a problem for me. Like I have to try to read other books with I would say long-winded authors, and I can't get through it. But for some reason, I don't know if it's because I've been doing it from the time I was a child. I anticipate it from him and I enjoy it.
It's not necessarily that it's long-winded. It's just that it's so descriptive, and like my imagination just conjures up such a realistic vision of it.
Well, then that's good. That means it's working as it's supposed to.
Absolutely. He's an amazing author.
He is. He really is. Oh my goodness.
Like, I've had it on my Kindle for, I don't know, probably close to a year. And I don't think I've gotten further than like 10 chapters in, just because I started and I'm just like, oh, like this is so creepy.
Yes. And it's always much more creepier in your mind.
Right.
Than watching it on film. And so that's why I'm always very hesitant to watch movies that have been converted from books.
When I was younger, my mom used to make me read the book first before I could see the movie.
Yes.
But as an adult, I tend to see the movie before I read the book.
I want to watch them. I want to read the book first in most instances.
Yeah, I just usually end up hating the movie if I see the movie after I read the book.
Yeah, because it never captures it as much as it can in your imagination. Your imagination will always come out on top.
Right, and then there's just always so much missing.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to watch the movie first, so that way, like, I make the connection with the movie.
That's true. So one of the movies, one of the first movies I think I watched, and oh my gosh, was Langoliers, and that's such an old movie.
I don't know if I've seen that.
That it's basically about some people on a plane, and sometime during the night, during the flight, the plane went into a different dimension. So if you were asleep, if you were asleep, you made it through to the other end, but if you were awake, you died. So whatever it is that was not of you. So for example, when they woke up, they would find like probably somebody in the seat next to them would see silver fillings like from the teeth left behind, and the clothes and the watches or whatever. If you had any plastic surgery done, it would be left behind. So like just your natural form just disappeared completely or evaporated or whatever, and whatever was unnatural just stayed behind. But they went
in. That sounds terrifying.
It was at my age, it was to me. But what was really terrifying is after they landed the plane, they're in the airport, they're at the airport, wherever it is, but there's nobody else. Like, it's like completely empty land. And there is something, I mean, the movie goes on, but at the end, what really is the scary part is it's like almost like a yesterday. Like, they've flown into yesterday, and it's showing you like what happens to the days past. So apparently it's eaten by some kind of black ball things with very sharp teeth and whatever. And so whatever is caught in that yesterday, it disappears. It gets eaten. Honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I can't remember how the movie ended. I can't remember how it ended, but it was scary to me. It really was.
It sounds terrifying.
It was, and it's like I said, it's one of the older movies. Like, I don't know if it came out even before Cujo did. So it's pretty old, but it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it when I read the book as well. Even, I don't know, I'm just so obsessed with Stephen King, honestly. I named one of my social media handles is called Everything's Eventual, from one of his short stories. Because it's just so cool. But yeah, so if that's something, if we want, we can probably take a look at it as well, and we can watch it.
Yeah, definitely, that sounds super interesting.
Yes. And then there are some of his modern ones, like Rose Red. Oh my gosh, I forget the other one, The Tall Grass. He's just so good.
There's the new It too.
Yes.
And the original It.
The original? Yeah. The first time I watched the original one, it was scary to me. But then after watching the new one, that one was like way scarier. And my son wanted to watch it with me, and he had nightmares for like a week. He got so obsessed with it that he started looking up memes and other little different things on YouTube. Yeah, it was really taking a toll on him. He couldn't sleep at all for that week.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop him either.
I think the original, like, I love it so much just because of Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Just anything Tim Curry is amazing.
That's true.
So we also have some new content that is coming.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
I am too. So we're going to try and do some top 5 lists over on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled for that.
Definitely. I'm excited for it.
Me too.
So, and our YouTube channel is same as on here.
Yep.
It's blackcatcrossing podcast.
Yes, I believe so. Like, yeah, it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's Black Cat Crossing podcast.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Black Cat Crossing is all one word and then podcast.
Yeah, they'll get us. They'll get us when we get on there.
Oh, we're terrible with remembering things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is our hope is to get some new content going on the YouTube channel. So what do you guys think about reviews? Like, do you guys like hearing the classic horror movie reviews, or would you rather us just do like newer stuff, or just keep mixing it like we've been? Let us know.
We love to hear from you.
Most definitely. We'd love to hear your feedback. I think that's it. Is that it?
That's it. I think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. Have a paranormal story you want to share? Some creepy photos or videos? A horror movie or a horror game you'd like to hear us review and discuss? We'd love to hear them. Drop us an email at blackcatcrossingzabs. That's blackcatcrossing, ZABS @gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And you can keep up with all we're doing on the podcast by following us on Instagram at Black Cat Crossing Podcast, on Facebook at Black Cat Crossing Podcast, and on Twitter at Black Cat Crossing 2. You can also head over to the website, www.blackcatcrossing.co, where you can check out the current episode or catch up on prior ones. And we'll see you next time
In the unknown.